hello, and Happy New Year. How's it going? We're playing a new game today, trying out something small, even I haven't tried. It's called... In, it's called In Other Waters. So this one's kind of like one of those artsy exploration ones. I'm probably going to be doing a lot of reading. I've tried it out before, just so I can figure out the controls. But we're going to dive in. And I do intend that pun. How do I delete the saves? Credits? No. There's no options in this game, which blows my mind. Skip the menu, please. Let's take a look as I'm struggling to figure this out. Alright, well, new game. This is the one. Exoplanet Extraction. This game is very blue and yellow, so I hope you like those colors. Got a bunch of speckles floating around. Hope you all had a good New Year. I did as well. I saw a bunch of fireworks outside my apartment. And other waters. Not to be mistaken for our waters. There we go. Trying to get the rocking out of my chair. Looks like we're booting up. There's a bunch of gobbledygook. Recovering. Last known log. Log recovered. Date 2189. Not too long from now, all things considered. There. Any time left. This is going to be more restrictive than you're used to, but you are resourceful. I know you. I'm sorry, Oki, but I can't something them find you. I can't lose everything we achieved here. Some gobbledygook. User disconnected. Continue with boot? Hello? Someone there? This is Dr. Ellery Vass. I urgently need all systems of the suit activating. I've been locked out. I'm 20 meters below the surface. So you're in a suit, you fell into the water and your suit locked you out. I say again, this is Dr. Ellery Vass. Can any operator personas on this suit please respond? Yes. Basically, this is your yes and no command. Alright, good. Operator activate all systems. Pilot authorization granted. We got our UI. Readouts coming through. Looking good. Okay, utilities available. Let's see. Sampling storage, terminal, and retrieval systems seems to be installed. Our power panel is activated. Plenty of juice. Oxygen panel is up, and rebreather functions. I'm off reserve oxygen now. But if you're automatically on reserve oxygen, don't you got a problem? I'm seeing the heading panel coming online. Excellent. Okay, good. The dive panel is active. The current readings of 20 meters. So that's that. So... you don't seem to know what you're doing. Are you not you're not an operator, are you? No. Then what are you? Why are you installed in this suit? Help me out here. I knew there was something strange about this suit when I got inside. It looks decades old. Look, we don't have time for this, so whatever program system you are, I need you to work with me. You seem to respond to voice commands. That's a start. We need to head north. I'll explain once we get going, but right now, I'm locked out of half the systems of this suit. Someone, somehow, has rewritten the permissions to only respond to internal messaging. That means you. So I'm gonna need you to take control. Let's get moving. Take me north, into the reef. Please. Okay, so the UI is a lot more simple than I initially thought. Like, this just kind of points you in a general direction to see what you're pointing. It's kind of like D&D, where it gives you descriptions and you're supposed to use your mind to believe. You got a topographical map, or you got the elevations of stones and such. You're underwater. We're in a chasm right here. We scan. It gives us a little blip. A description. Steep rock walls rise up towards the surface on either side. The floor is layered with pale sand. So it's marked. Then we do a little refresh button. It'll plot our course, and then we go. Good. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Let's keep heading north. Oh, okay. So yeah, as we go on, our power supply is going to eventually diminish. Our oxygen I've never seen go down, but I've only played for like an hour or so. A boulder fills the passage, blocking out the warm light of Gliese 667. CC's 3 stars. Oh, there's 3 stars on this planet. Are they close to the planet? Is it super warm here? Alright. Let's do a scan. Here, the passage opens out, back into the dappled light of the reef shallows. So this is a game, I know that it's a very literary based and not very visually appealing, but I'm kind of thinking like mornings and on the weekends is a good time to kind of like check out something new. I am going to attend, this seems to be, it's probably going to be a short game, so I intend to play to the end, but yeah. The softly flowing water is filled with glittering particles of organic matter, signs of rich and thriving life all around. Yeah, I'm thinking for whomever joins on Twitch, that'll be awesome, and then on YouTube, I'll basically have like a mini-series that somebody can check out a new game. Look, in the water. Are those spores? And those stalks to the west, they look huge, like huge fungi. This is unbelievable. Alien actual alien life. How could Monet have kept this place a secret? I saw our notes at the base when I landed, and some telltale signs on approach, but here it is. The first extraterrestrial life humanity has ever discovered was fungus underwater. I can't believe it. Now, usually that's wildly dangerous. Alright, so we scan things. Fungal creature made up of a series of stalks and plates attached to the rock. Color ranges from dark amber to acid yellow. These stalks are beautiful. I wonder how they feed, how they grow, how they communicate. This planet, needs to be studied. Keep scanning creatures and I'll keep notes. Once we gather enough data, I can name and log each species. No matter what happens here, this is vital work. Okay. You scan the biological things. This creature's external membrane appears to be made of layers of chitin, like earth arthropods or fungi. Beds of these creatures coat the pale rocks. Are these plants or animals? They're unlike any earth coral or sponge. And then, protected by the ridges from the strong northern currents, this could be a safe haven for younger, softer species. Let's go check out the fungus. Get a closer look. I mean, let's be fair. They're probably, gonna try to eat me. What were those creatures? They were hidden among the stalks. Quickly, try to get a scan. These creatures appear to maneuver with a series of siphon jets concealed beneath their floating mantles. They are incredibly fast. These are such lively creatures, and so colorful, too. I'll start logging my observations. Okay. Yeah, you see like the little blips floating around. You see the currents. I'm seeing complex pattern of contracting and expanding slits in the stalk's membrane. Mouths or sensing organs. These colonies are producing a shifting hum. Perhaps it's a form of communication between individuals? The stalks here are furred with spores, which appear to have drifted down from the northern part of the reef. Let's check that out. These stalks are covered in spores of all sizes. Perhaps we can sample one of the larger ones. I'm in position. You have to take the sample. Open up the sampling utility. Okay, so you got your little whirligoo here. You get close to this thing. It's a 5% fungal, 0% seed. We'll clamp it shut, and we got our sample. So that goes in our inventory. We got one. Biological samples are vital tools for analyzing and understanding creatures. But this suit should also allow you to deploy any sample back into the ocean. How about you test it out? Hold and drag it over the central compass. Okay, we dropped it, and turns out animals have showed up. Great! That's working as it should. Look, those creatures are coming for the spores. Why those ones in particular, I wonder? Perhaps different spores carry different compounds? Each with specific purposes or message? What do you think? Could the spores be a way of communicating between different colonies? Sure. It isn't that strange. Fungi on Earth form networks of exchange. Maybe these stalks do the same. Anyway, sorry, I'm not sure why Let's keep moving. I'm seeing spores entering and exiting the slits on the surface of the stalk. Something is being exchanged. The colony seemed to be broken up into individual patches and then larger groups over a wide area. This huge rock sits among layers of lichen. Could it have been thrown here during the volcanically active period in the planet's history? I mean, sure. Let's check it out. I know we're supposed to go north. We're kind of heading this side here. Give it a scan. Oh, nice. Got a ton of data. Fungal creature, which communicates through sound and spores. An interlocking ecosystem of seeded across the reef. I'm uploading my initial notes. Let's call these reef stalks. We'll classify them later. Okay. What is it that dictates the reef's growth patterns? Sunlight? The flow of water? Whatever it is, it must be absent here. We chug along. Okay, we got 2 paths that we can go. Among these spore-clogged stalks are piles of small stones. Could a creature have gathered them here, or just currents? Spores from the main part of the reef are brought into the southern nurseries. They're here by a steady current. I feel like we don't want to go directly into the current. Let's go adjacent. Oh, I might have to go up there anyway. Sampling available. Don't mind if I do. Because these samples also hold a additional benefit, is they give you resources too. So this guy, well, okay. To the spore flow. Hey, can I ask you something? Sure. I've worked with AI programs before, but you aren't like them. They're predictable, pragmatic, or dull. Their intelligence allows them to log and process data, that's all. But you're different. I feel like you are alive. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes. Then you are different. I'm glad I'm not just imagining it. But what are you? And what are you doing in this suit? Which, I mean, like, where artificial intelligence is now, 100 years in the future, I can totally see it advancing into sentience. The current running into the reef slows here, but further north, the water whips down the rift with incredible speed. Which sounds like a terrible thing to swim into, but here we are. Alright, our power's kind of taking a hit. The long rift, wide and long, with sheer rock walls on either side. This deep rift channel unpredictable currents. And then we got here. This arch is covered in hardened stalks. Perhaps the slow current... Oh, let's close this. I said, let's close this. Passing through brought their spores to settle here. Well, let's go away from the current itself. That'll probably make it easier to swim. So this adventure is somewhat on rails. I wonder if it opens up at all. New biological life. Static creature made up of one huge flexible stalk. Oh, these huge stalks are incredible. Each one has a vertical ecosystem. They are leaking spores into the water as the fruiting body is attached to their skin bloom. So there's a timer. I don't really care for this, but there's a chat timer. If you just leave it alone, it'll just skip the dialogue. Static creature made up of one huge flexible stalk. Unclear if it's swaying due to a current or it's produced by the stalk's own body. You can kind of see them moving side to side. It's kind of a cool detail. Many of these stalks are leaking particles into the water as they sway. Are those spores or something else? These larger stalks sway all around the basin. They almost resemble branchless trees bending in a storm. Let's go that way. Get a decent couple rock faces. Did you see that? The stalks responded to our movement. They extended as we passed through the arch. Perhaps it was the sound we made when we moved through? We should be careful not to get trapped here. The suit's power capacity is limited. As you can see, it is taking a hit. The chitin of the stalk's membrane is very hard, but flexibility is given by a surface of overlapping plates. So you basically got like this armored tube, which sounds kind of cool. It's really feeding my mind's eye. There is a lot of activity among the rocks ahead. Creatures are grazing on and living among the stalks, forming complex ecosystems. Away we go. We pursue. Look, over the southwest. That stalk is totally calcified. It looks like a good sample candidate. Well, let's check it out. Let's click everything first. The plates of the stalk surface passing over one another must be producing a distinctive hum that can be heard. These creatures must be related to the other stalks on the reef, but seem separate to have a separate purpose to the lower bed. So yeah, each one gets data gathered, basically. Do I scan again? What are these floating guys? It's safe to assume that the singing of these stalks relates to the communication between colonies seen elsewhere in the reef. And then there's one way over here. Large stalks which sway, producing distinctive hum or grunt. Oh, I've named these sing stalks for that strange hum they produce. What is it? What is its precise function, I wonder? Oh, okay. Part of the networks of stalks which is found across the reef. Cool, so we got two species categorized. Let's go to the calcified stalk. This huge stalk is totally still. Its plates hardened into rocky shells. Can it be revived? Or is this what death looks like here? I mean, death by calcification sounds kind of cool. Horrible, but I guess you're already dead. The stalk looks dead. Open up the sampling panel and we can extract some of the outer membrane. Okay. There's a lot of dead material here, so you'll be able to take multiple samples. Okay. We got fungal tissue. Wonder what these symbols are for. Okay, so the chitin appears to be hardened with calcium carbonate. That could be useful if we need power. The suit is able to metabolize organic compounds to produce fuel. Just drag them to the power panel. So this is kind of the cool part. The suit displays how much oxygen and power each sample can produce. No point wasting important samples. With these, we can keep on one sample so we can take the analysis back to the base and use the other for a power boost. So yeah, this is our resource management portion. So as we've been slowly draining our power, we can pick this stuff up, plop it in there, boom. Presumably I can do the same with oxygen if I need it. What's this? Mobile creatures with a large translucent shell and 4 swimming appendages which it used for rapid rowing motion. These creatures have such beautiful translucent shells. I saw lagging data on them is we find them. Ah, scientists. Having a good old time. The space between the rocks here is thick with stalks. Elaborate patterns that trace across the reef are beautiful. Oh, come on. Get back here. There we go. Flitting around the reef, these creatures chase stalk spores with great enthusiasm. Is it their primary food source? I mean, probably. What's that? Just a big rock? Moves a little too organically. Maybe it's a megaspore. These rocks here are clear of stalks and other growth. Is their absence a territorial marker or just a side effect of the conditions of these waters? Let's go. A large cavern drops down the reef here. Its entrance is shadowed by the surrounding rocks. And now we make greater progress. So looking at the elevation here, it's sometimes, it's because it's a darker color. That's how you indicate that it's a hole and not a raise when it comes to topographical mapping. The water is still in the yawning entrance to the cavern. There are no signs of stalks or other reef life around the entrance. Yeah, it's easy to kind of tell, like, this is a hole, this is a cliff. Alright, and we dive. We can go into these yawning hellscapes. The patchy sunlight coming through the broken cavern roof is enough to allow stalks to grow here, if that's what they require. Yeah, she has a lot of hypothesis, but not a lot of actual conclusive data. A tall, bubble-coated stalk which sits among the reef stalk colonies, covered in wide, irising pores. These tall stalks seem to watch over the smaller colonies. I'll start logging notes. Okay. So this, you can see the little dots. They're kind of blocking our passage. A glittering stalk. A soft sunlight spills down into the long, thin stalk, stretching towards the light. A coating of large, glassy bubbles glitters on the skin. I love the descriptors that they use. They really kind of paint a picture of kind of what the character's looking at, even if we only see this. As we can see, it's like the little shafts of sunlight, glittering plants. Oh, sampling. I'm gonna pick all of them up because they can be used. Signal 10%. It's a lichen signal. I wonder if that's the case. So this triangle doesn't really mean anything. Those are the chemical bonds. The interior gases is at an elevated pressure. If this membrane ruptured, the sac would screech as it depressurized. Is this part of the stock communication system we've seen across the reef? Wait, I have an idea. Try deploying one of the by the block tunnel here. I want to see how the stalks react. Just drag one over. Is this it? Yeah. They retracted. These bubbles must be some kind of signal system. I'll call them shrill sacs for that squeak. We can use these to get through the heavy growth ahead. Let's get moving. I suspect later on in the game it's actually going to get kind of like puzzly on how to proceed, which I'm kind of excited for. The stalks mesh across the cavern here, hardened into near solid walls of tubes and plates. That all retracted. So yeah, when it's white, it's like not yet seen. When it's yellow, it means it's actively, interacted with. The cavern curves away into both directions here. It's hard to see the way ahead. Which, I mean, if you're swimming around on an alien planet, seeing a bunch of terrestrial life, so I guess you're wondering where we are heading. There's a way station just north of here, on a finger of this reef. I want to find it. My shuttle touched down just hours ago, at a floating research base to the south. That's where I found this suit. I'm here looking for Dr. Nomura, chasing a message all the way from Earth. I must sound mad coming out here to a planet in the tail of Scorpius just to follow a message. Wait, you. Do you know where we are? You know where we are, don't you? No. But how? We're on Gliese 667C, a supposedly unremarkable world, if it wasn't for all this life. Well, it's not unremarkable. Somehow, the exoplanet extraction core must have passed it by, but how did Monet know how to come here? Is that why she contacted me? To verify her discovery? But then where is she? Look, let's find the way station, then I can start piece together what's going on. Well, I mean, okay. You're on a planet that has an entire ecosystem of fungal creatures that communicate across the waters. There's got to be some kind of predator. You can probably guess what happened to her. The cavern narrows here, and small eddies of water twirl in the slit. Let's pressing forward. A current can be felt drifting through the cavern entrance, bringing with it warm clouds of silt. Warm clouds of silt. I guess the 3 stars does make it kind of a deserty planet with big old warm tropical waters. Although that kind of implies that this suit that I'm wearing is not isn't like a harsh environment suit. Like, it's very specifically a diving suit. And this is actually as far as I've gotten. I've not proceeded past here. Stalks of this kind seem to produce different bubbles, depending on the nearby stalks. They are the protectors of their colonies. Stalks of the kind seem to be different bubbles. Huh. A sample candidate? Okay. Observations. This thin stalk sits among the bed of other growths, exuding bright bubbles through its pores. And then what's this? I can't help but feel some unseen process of its shaping the growth patterns of this reef. What invisible borders am I crossing? I like how she labels every single one of these logs, because it's like a journal entry. Let's go get a sample. Okay. Got a signal. So this might be a shrill stalk or spore. Shrill spore. I don't know why names just escape my brain so easily. Shrill sac. There we go. Cool. The scattered boulders and steep rifts of the southern reef suggest a violent geological path. I mean, if you've noticed, all these stalks seem to be along the base of a cliffside. So it goes to show that there's probably need some kind of side defense. What? Interesting. They'll probably tutorialize me on those. What the hell are those? Oh, those are the spore stacks, the chitinous ones. Isolated stalk. Unlike the other specimens, this large stalk sits alone, away from the lower beds. It's hard to tell if this is the beginning of a colony or its end. Let's check it out. This is a good way to get eaten. The stalks are more sparse between these rock outcroppings. This might be the easiest path north if I can clear the way. I mean, yeah, I can clear the way. We got shrill sacks. Ah. What's this guy? Shelled creature. These creatures glide along the reef stalks with great care and precision. They appear to be grazing on them. What's this? Spore clouds. The relative calm of this basin means the water is clogged with spores, released by the larger stalks. The stalks are so thick here, a sea of amber waving fingers that must be cleared before we can pass through. Well, we got just the thing. Well, I hope I didn't make it mad. Oh boy. A delicate set of feeding Appendages beneath the creature's shell seem to scrape the outer membrane of the stalks away. Huh. Forest clearing. Navigating these dense growths is like finding your way in a labyrinth, moving from clearing to clearing with little sense of what's ahead. I mean, yeah. Right now we're acting as explorers. Some creatures target these tall stalks directly, perhaps because they keep them away from other softer stalks nearby. Occasionally, when the creature scrapes the stalk too aggressively, they retract and let out a defensive signal to nearby colonies. Oh, so they have to gently scrape. Bubbles like huge pearls glint among the stalks. How do the tall stalks produce these strange screeching sacs? I believe I've called a bard something similar in a D&D campaign. Strange squeaking sack. I suspect I'll need all of these. I mean, my inventory's full, but... Oh, yeah, signal stalk, new species. Tall bubbles producing stalk... Oh. I'm going to call these signal stalks for their signaling role they play in stalk ecology. That protect and monitor stalk colonies. A key part of the stalk network that stretches across the reef. But yeah, as you can see, you got rocks that they kind of collect over. Well, I guess we got clearings here. The growth patterns of the stalks suggest a complex territorial network. Are we underestimating the complexity of these life forms? Oh, right. I need a signal stalk. Sprung! Oh, I scared things off. Uh-oh. I don't want to piss them off. Who knows if they have a defense mechanism? I mean, if it's all about signals, they're probably telling me not to do things. There seems to be some tolerance for the creatures scraping by the stalks, but they only warn the creatures if it cuts too deeply. Oh, here we go. New species. The stalk scraper. I'm naming these stalk scrapers for the obvious reasons. You can check my notes at the back at base. A large creature with a translucent shell and jointed legs for swimming and feeding grazes the membranes of the reef stalks. Okay. Glittering stalk. More bubbles producing stalks are sentries designed for early warnings or last-ditch defense by colony's core. Okay, clear path. East and west are stalks as far as the eye can see. They fade off and into the slit like the towers of a miniature city. Okay. We don't need more samples, so we'll keep going this way. Gotta do a little bit of inventory management. Oh, what's this? Spores from the stalk seem to be massing here in large clumps. This might be a good place to sample them. Sure. Yeah, here we go. These are the fuel spores, which are rather important. I'm full. We'll just get rid of these guys. Nice, you can drop them anywhere. Oh, that's a terrible way to deal with an ecosystem. I mean, since it's a shrill sound, it probably hurts them. Okay, let's put these... Oh, that's not the same. What is this? Cocktail of minerals and compounds. What happens if I put it here? Nope. Okay. Let's get out of here before I really piss them off. I'm excited to see the base mechanic she keeps talking about. These two boulders are covered with tiny stalks, a coating of amber fur waving in the currents. Cool. These guys. Wait, something's got... Get him! There we go. Agile creatures. These creatures aggressively pursue certain spores, but ignore others completely. Can they detect the difference in mineral content? That'd be cool. The last line of thick stalks before the sandy plains of the central reef. I may have been a little aggressive when it comes to clearing them out. That's it. We're through. This place is overwhelming. So many new species. This is the central reef. I saw it on Manet's maps. The shelf flattens out here. Oh, well, okay. You can go 2 different places through this shady outcrop. The water beneath this outcrop feels cool, oceanic. Soft currents scrape from the rock face. Ripples of the silt bounce sunlight back up through the water, giving it a golden glow. This looks like the base itself. It's an object. Let's check out the object. It looks like a place a predator would live, though. Oh no, more fungus. Let's see what we got. What's this? A set of smooth stones. Oh, this is the alternative path I could have gone through. Could a creature have gathered these here? Is this a nest? Let's proceed forward. Last thing you want is a multi-celled organism that is possibly a carnivore. The center of the reef is flat and sandy, with few rocks attached to the stalks struggling to seed these waters. Struggling to seed? Interesting. What's this? There it is! I see the way station ahead. Okay. That's all you gotta say on the matter? Okay, way station, feature. A way station set up by Manet Nomura. It's seen better days, but still functions beneath the coating stocks. Okay. This place is looking a little worse for wear. Let me see if I can find an access port. Manet never did take care of her equipment. Some things never change. Sorry. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to... Got it. Okay. We should be able to access any data stored here. Just open the terminal and take a look. Terminal available? Is that this? Oh, whoa. Spoofing user. Dr. Nomura. Last access history cleared. Okay. We can recharge our power and oxygen. Bunch of information. So we just jack in the way system. Data release, pilot's console. Logs have been cleared. I expected that, given the secrecy Manet seems to be operating under. But the map data mentions something Manet calls the Bloom, out across the northern rift. She's been going back and forth to something there, studying it. A unique species, perhaps? Manet, what are you doing here? Why were you keeping this discovery from the world? From me? Okay. I'm talking to myself again. Or to whatever you are. Sorry, I don't mean... Let's head back to the research base. I need to think. With this way station operational, we can call in the base's retrieval drone from the utility panel. This drone will be able to pick us up from any area we got map data for. Let's head to the base. We've got a lot to figure out. Okay. Please connect. Request retrieval. Excellent. I think that's the first level. Resyncing with Bicolos, or OS. Whoa, interesting. We got Bay, we got Lab. Hey, are you back online? Yes. Pretty sharp work for a biologist, if I do say so myself. Hooking up that strange casing of yours to the base took some work. And the OS here does not play nicely with whatever you are. But you should have access to select subsystems of the stack now. Manet looks to have repurposed some of them, so not everything is functional. Comms are shot, the generator is only partially working, and one of the retrieval drones is missing. But I booted up the drive bay mapping system and sample storage. The lab is also online with an analysis tools and an integrated taxonomy for logging creatures. Take a look, I've already logged the creatures we discovered last dive. For any logged creatures, I'll also put a sample request in their taxonomy entries. To fulfill this request, just find and transfer the samples to the lab, then analyze them. I can then use that data to add the creature's study. We need to register these species. Head down to the lab level and take a look. I'll also mark sample requests on the dive map. That way we can grab key samples for our studies while we are out in the ocean. And we are going back out soon. While you were offline, I spotted a signal, a suit transponder. You can see its location on the dive map. I want to find it. A suit transponder means a suit, and a suit means Monet. I'll need your help. That suit takes both of us to pilot it, and it's the only one I've got. Once you're done exploring the base, load into the dive map. We can head out from there. But that's kind of cool. We're playing a AI algorithm. I didn't think there was frickin' base mechanics. This is awesome. And I kind of like how they have, it doesn't integrate very well, so you have some inactive things. Requested crew. Yes, we got the generator. Active at 34% efficiency. Turbines, core stable. That's kind of cool. That's a very satisfying sound. Got the med bay. Or med subject. None active. Base user detective. This is probably going to become very important very soon. The lab. Taxonomy. Let's check it out. Whoa. Nubulus stergilis. Got a sketch? Oh, I didn't finish the study. Scrapers are large, translucent shell creatures with a distinctive swimming motion. I thought I did. Oh. With a surprisingly nimble despite their size. Behavior. Okay, and I need to get samples. Interesting. Fungal stalks. A reef stalk. Exciting that I can actually start getting sketches of these things. To get kind of a visual representation to see if it matches your mind's eye. Plantae Nove, bacteria. I wonder what Nove stands for in this regard. Activated. Whoa. Okay, so she's in the habitat. That's kind of cool. Shows where people are. Dive map. Oh, I'm not ready. Okay, comm signal. It's damaged. Automatic repair not possible. Offsite assistance needed. Okay. We can talk to Ellery Vass. Life support. Can I click it? No. Whoa, you get her personal log. She's left behind one hell of a mess. The base has fallen apart, cannibalized to build way station out in the ocean. Patients arrayed, sliced away, life support failing. Where did she even commandeer this research base from? There's no way Bakel would have supplied it willingly. After what she did to them... Oh, jeez. What did she call me out here for? To witness her disappearance? Or did she simply want me to encounter, as she did, the impossible life of this ocean? How could it have gone ignored for hundreds of years of exploration and conquest? There are too many questions to even begin. All I can do is keep an account of what happens here, so that if I can't answer these questions, someone else might. It'll be weeks, maybe months, until the next ship passes close enough to pick up my shuttle transponder. Until then, I'm alone. This place is unbelievably important to our first contact with life beyond Earth, but something else is happening here too. And I need to know what it is. Recent files. Nice. So let's check out the dive map. So biohazard suit store. Oh, that's kind of cool. So I can actually put some of this stuff in the base. Put that there. What's this? Containing complex. I'm gonna hold on to one of those. Actually, no, I'm not. I need a sample. You know, actually, hold on. Let's go to the lab. So if I do this. Lab analysis complete. Multiple taxonomies entries are updated. Hell yeah. I like how it doesn't destroy the panel. Study! Lab analysis, silk stock, taxonomy updated. Further analysis is possible. Well then, analyze it. Okay. Is there any other, like, inventory things I can do here? It's just the bay. What's this dot? I'm not ready for the dive map. Okay, I can read her log. I can see she's just kind of moving back and forth between here. Awesome. I imagine this is an observation bay. Life support system. Kind of got bunk rooms, which is kind of cool. This is a two-person ship. I'm assuming this is a galley. There's two of them. The common area. Something's got to be a bathroom. Oh well. Maybe it's these closets. Huh. Alright, let's take a look at the dive map. Hold up. I know, I'm just kind of dawdling. Nice. Analysis stock bark shows it's a chitin base as suspected, containing glucose at high levels and polysaccharides. This makes it an ideal food source for the scrapers, but not only this, it makes stalk membranes a vital substance for lichen scraper shell formation. The more stalk membrane consumed, the larger and thicker the scraper shell will become. This which explains the variance in shell scraper size and translucency. Going further, shell may also be a marker of stock scraper's importance with the community. A large shell means a more effective grazer, and therefore a more preferable partner. Further analysis of scraper shells is needed to continue the line of inquiry. Okay. Oh boy. Analysis of stock spores has revealed a rich cocktail of compounds unique to each spore, some of which are previously unknown to human chemistry. This aspect of the spores and their noticeable exchange between colonies of stock suggests that there is a chemical cocktails are part of an information exchange network. However, some of the spores also appear to be true spores, used for asexual reproduction of stock colonies, suggesting that the information-carrying spores are adapted or modified reproductive spores. Analysis also suggests that the stock colonies may possess a high level of intelligence and cognition, and that the messages provided by the spores is nuanced and even subjectively unique to each colony. Patterns across multiple spores from a single colony even suggest chemical signature possessed by each stock group. Can these be thought of as stock names? Stock names? Interesting. The Sing stock. Analysis of the stock bark sample has given us new insight into the Sing stocks. Their entire biology is comprised into chitin plates that surround each specimen. They are completely hollow. In fact, rather than being single large stalks, Sing stocks are actually many spirally intertwined stalks, which weave together to form a pillar-like shell. The scraping of these stalks, as they move against one another, produces stalk harmonic hum, which may not be a form of communication with other colonies as first thought, and instead a kind of internal metronome, there to synchronize the movements of each individual stalk within the weave of stalks. But if the Sing stalks are the bark that surrounds them, this brings a new question. What does the Sing stalks contain? Further analysis is needed. Alright, one more. Signal stalk. Shrill sac laboratory analysis shows that they are formed from a coating of mucus sealed around a pressurized mix of oxygen and carbon dioxide. The oxygen shows that the signal stalks are able to absorb oxygen from their surroundings, perhaps their large pores. Meanwhile, the CO2 must be the result of fermenting process within the stalk itself. This suggests the presence of a fungal symbiote similar to yeast within the stalk, and the possible production of ethanol as a byproduct of their process, though a tissue sample will be necessary to confirm this. Shrill sac production, meanwhile, seems to be a precise art. The pressurization, gas mix, and size of each shrill sac can differ from stock to stock, meaning that warnings can be directed to particular colonies, even individual stocks if necessary. Interesting. Oops. Okay. I know that's pretty wordy, but I don't know. Yeah, she's in the room, pretty much. Well, let's take a look at this. We got here, obstruction. Manet's notes mention something called the bloom across the rift. Until we have a stronger propulsion, we won't be able to cross it. Okay. So this is the place where we've explored. Sample request, stock scraper. When we cross, we should find this area for... Oh, I just have a choice? Map data. These caves cut back under the forest, perhaps exposed roots inside. No way! Well, let's do a side mission. I feel like that would be a good quest. We can move our way towards this, base has detected a suit transponder in these coordinates. Could this be Manet? We'll have to head to the East Reef to find out. Yeah, but I want to explore. Let's go here. Sample request. Proceed. Confirm dive to selected location. Yes. Okay. I'm going to get a quick coffee. I'll be right back. Actually, I'm going to let the dialogue go first, then get a coffee. We good? Okay, there is no dialogue. Very well. Alright, so I'm probably not going to... I'm going to do some of the side missions, but I don't think I'm going to 100% it unless it's on my own time. Okay, so we did that. Got blooming stock. This stock is leaking spores from a wide slit in its side. They are carried across the soft sand by the current reefs coming... The pale sand is unmoving here, but to the north I can see a yawning chasm and a strong current of wide rift. Large, smooth pebbles sit in the sand, and beyond I can see the sun catching the amber terraces of another stock forest. That's a good question. Where do I want to go? Object, observations. Object, observations. Feature. Let's go to the object. Head north. When you have a choice of destinations, just pick arbitrarily. Oh boy. This feature rises steeply towards the jagged edge of the reef, splitting the strong currents like the head of an axe. Were these rifts and canyons really carved by the currents, or are they violent fractures, now smoothed by erosion? The pale strata of this rock tell an ancient story. Might there be fossils recording from the sun rock, such rocks, awaiting to be discovered? The pale strata? Let's check it out. I mean, we can kind of swim around. This kind of tapers off into an edge, so it might be worth exploring. Yeah, let's head this way. Towards this area. If this is kind of like a hill, then this is going to be kind of the way to explore. In the shadow of these huge outcrops, this pass leads towards a rift at the northern edge of the reef, and its fast-moving waters. A rift, you say? Oh, is this a, yeah, this is descent. So this is like a huge cliff and then nothingness. Awesome. Thalassophobia, ho! From here, the reef descends into an unseen deep. Spores spiral in the fast-flowing water. What else lies out there? You want to find out? Go to the deep ocean? The sides of the shelf is sliced at by the planet's oceanic currents. Look at those flecks of organic material. They are being cycled back into the reef's ecosystem, drifting from unseen places out in the ocean. It must be part of some vast process. Do you think we'll ever understand the cycles of the ocean? Sure. I hope so too. It's just so intimidating. An entire planet of life and just us to study it. Well, I mean... Okay, so that was a dead end. But got pretty cool dialogue. The current there looked insane. Okay, I think I can speed by some of the button pushing. Okay, sample candidate. This stock cleaned by the edge of a nearby outcrop, away from the loose sand in Central Reef. Alright. Well, we're here for samples, so might as well. Greetings, salutations. Just shrill sacks, I can use them. Excellent. These gullies lead among the tall outcrop of the northern edge to the current and the open waters beyond. Well, gotta explore. We're burning through a little bit of energy, but we got plenty. Let's make our way east to the source of the transponder signal. I don't know what to expect. If the transponder is Minae's, there's some history between us, but I haven't seen her in years. Not since... Look, you don't need to worry about it. Let's just find her. Okay. Oh, nice. She actually, like, tells us where to go. And that's kind of cool. We can actually get to, So all those places on the map were places I could go. So that's cool. Here, the gully opens out into one of the rifts, cutting deep into the bedrock reef. Yeah, but I want to explore. I'm a curious AI. I need more data. There, look, a cave entrance, cut into the side of the rift. It should allow us to bypass the rift, although I'm not sure where we'll merge. You mean there? Hidden shelf, protected by the sheer sides of the rift. The shelf leads down to a small cavern entrance in the reef wall. The sheer walls of the rift plunge into the dark water here, and rapid currents make passing through difficult, if not impossible. So yeah, the water's whipping by, as you can see by these particles flying by. So we can go to this, if we descend a little bit, it's protected by the rock faces, so the current won't pull us away. Which sounds insanely dangerous, because, I mean, like, you got this crazy windstorm, or water storm in this case. Oh boy, it's dark. Oh, so this is the current in that chasm, so we're going to be going along here. The round mouth of the cave stretches away into the rock. Stalks hum quietly in the dark. Oh, this just sounds ominous. Unnatural cave? There's a strange evenness to the walls of this cave, almost as if it were a vast borehole drilled into the reef. Yes. Look at this. Is this where we're going to go? This will probably find more fungus, and then we'll go this way. Stock patches. These stalks seem to get down here. Perhaps they are less reliant on sunlight than I initially thought. So yeah, they don't really photosynthesize, although they can probably pass resources via the spores. Crossroads. We are deep in the rock now. What form these hollowed out caverns with their strange undulating walls? Oh jeez. It's a giant worm. We're gonna get eaten. I wonder how the stalks survive without sunlight. Maybe they are fed by the forest above. What do you think? No. It's true that we've seen no root system, but I don't think that eliminates the possibility. Well, I mean, you're the biologist, not me. I'm just a piloting AI. Protecting a small underground colony, this tall stock signature's coating of bubbles glints in the dark. I mean, that's just more Shriek stock. Alright, let's get some samples. I'd be foolish not to. Yeah, these are Shriek sacks. Or shrill sacks, excuse me. Okay. Just filled my inventory. A cave-in has severed some section of the stock's root network, stretching down from the forest above. What can they tell us? Oh, hell yeah. I'm gonna get rid of one of these. Let's samples. That's a lot of fungal percent. Or fungal tissue, okay. And then that's the percent of atoms. So yeah, it's got CO2, or carbon something or another, and no oxygen. So I'm learning how to read this. What's this? A tangle of silken roots from the stock colony. It's got a little bit of oxygen, these drill sacks. And then this is a little fuel source. These are a really good fuel source. I only really need one. Boop. Cool, so we can research that back at base. This game's awesome. I don't want more. Narrow passage. The cave starts to get tight here, and with the shadows ahead, a stock crowd the tunnel. Oh, God. I don't like tight spaces. Okay, we're going to drop a shrill sack. We're going to scan and proceed. A mesh of stalks. The stalks here are thick and intertwined. Underground in the stark light of the headlamps, they resemble brittle, oversized worms. Ugh. Terrifying. Granted, that's precisely why I went underground. Bright light from the east of this large cavern is broken up by tall pillars, casting strips of light and dark across the smooth walls. Close my inventory. A little sound. A broken pillar? These pillars punctuate the cavern. Stalks crowd around their bases. They support the vast weight of the reef above. I mean, obviously they probably subsist on a mineral composition. What is that? Sporing stock. These dome stalks are pumping out clouds of short-lived... Oh. These stalks are filling the water with spores. We should start logging information on them. Oh, okay. Short-lived spores. They look to be like oversized mushrooms. Cool. Sample candidate. These bloated creatures are pumping clouds of spores out into the water. Around them, stock colonies rise out of the sand. Yeah, I'm getting closer. These things are cool. Okay, fungal signal. Sure. Nice. These spores are different. The stalks nearby seem to be stimulated by them. Could these spores be used to make stalks extend, to bring them out of hiding? We should test them out on a retracted colony. Oh, okay. Clump of spores would seem to stimulate the stalks. Cool. Unlike the other stalk spores, which survive until they settle, these spores from the stalks dissolve the moments after they are released. Interesting. These stalks seem to be shriveling up. Is it because they're too exposed to the rift's withering currents? These sporing stalks seem to require very particular conditions to grow. I've seen so few elsewhere on the reef. Okay. This is a sample candidate. These large growths seem to be sustaining this colony with their spores, perhaps carrying nutrients, even chemical signals. And another one. This long stalk sits quietly beside a dying colony. Soon there won't be anything left for it to protect from scavengers. Oh. But that's biological life. Let's get some more throwaway stuff. Cool. And these do have a decent power capability. In that regard, they're better than the shrill sacks. Another rift. How can we cross it? The current here is so strong. I want to test this out. The current slices down through the rifts from the north here. Crossing is going to be difficult unless their flow can be slowed further up. Am I going to cause a landslide? The far side of the cavern narrows into darkness. I can see a faint pulse of distant current ahead. The faint pulse. That's an interesting thought. A current must have once run down this tunnel, scraping the walls into smooth lines. Now the stalks block the flow. Okay, that's probably where these guys are going to come in. Oh, this is like auto motion. So I'll try to use the knob next. The tunnel ahead is thick with stalks, scraping the ceiling with their rounded tips. Sprung. Okay, and then we go. Give it a scan, and proceed. Light filters in from a large opening, making the spores drift in the water like glittering sparks. Oh, I guess I don't have access to the turny thing. Tucked behind the pillar, perhaps the stalk grew here as an early warning for predators coming up through the cave mouth. Yeah, that's what you want to think about in a cave. Look, those stalks in the cave mouth. They're retracted. Perhaps if we could make them extend, they would block the current? And thus the puzzle proceeds. The cave mouth ahead leaves this passage exposed to full force of the northern current. Blocking it somehow will help us pass. They block the current. The spores encourage them to extend and fill the tunnel. With the soothe spores, we can control the stalks to our advantage. This will be useful. Okay, let's get more analysis. The sporing stalk. There is a definite correlation between the struggling stalk colonies and these sporing stalks. They are helping us support these. Are they helping support these colonies? Alright. Tucked into the rift wall, the shelf allows protection from fast-flowing water cutting through the rock into the heart of the reef. Another of these growths support a smaller colony at the cavern's edge. Is there a logic to where they grow? A pattern? We sample. Sample. I guess we go this way. Is this where I'm going to ascend? Look! Out in the rift! A retracted stalk colony. If we can get them to extend, they might provide shelter from the current. Okay. A handful of stalks cling to the rift wall here, blown into spiraling shapes by rushing currents. Cool. Splattered with spores, the walls here feel the full force of the current. Perhaps it can be slowed upstream somehow. Okay. They're using a lot of power here. Even this close to the wall, the darkness of the deep rift is intimidating. A huge slit in the face of this world. How deep does it go? I mean, are we gonna find out? If the current can be slowed or navigated, this is the place to do it, where the rift narrows into a gap, opens up on both sides. Cool, so we'll go down. I guess we'll stimulate these. Bah! Let me go this way. A huge pillar sits out from the top wall here, its top caked in retracted stalks, a golden garden awaiting to emerge. Cool. Amber's such a cool color. This small opening in the wall provides a little shelter from the howling rift, allowing some stalks to take root here. Don't mind if I do. We are across. Thank you, stalks. Oh, and thank you too. Thank you to you too. Okay, that was a weird way to write that. Bare passage. Another smooth tunnel leading out towards the light. You know, obviously something made these tunnels. A circle of warm light shows that this tunnel opens out into the upper shelf of the East Reef. What lies above? Let's take a look. Good old exploration. Whoa, what's going on here? Stalk canopy. These stalks are twisted together in a huge canopy. Incredible. Oh, these canopies are spectacular. I'll start logging observations to see what we can find out about them. Incredible. They are pulsing as the pores across their surface open and close. Crazy. Bright petals. These bright wide petals appear to be photosynthetic plants. These beautiful plants, seeing petals shifting in sunlight. Let's start logging data on them. Okay. They float on long stems, shifting and swaying in the water. Alright, blooming petals. These plant-like creatures seem unrelated to the reef stalks, their soft petals waving on thin stems. Well, let's get closer. How's my inventory looking? I got one of each. Feels good to be out in the sunlight again. Let's head northeast along this finger of the reef. The transponder is at the tip. There we go. What's this? Furred pollen extracted from the petals in the east reef. Okay. What's this? Bright petals. While each plant seems to have a single wide petal, they group together, forming fields of blooming, all angled towards the sun. The fractured outcrop all around breaks up the worst of the northern current, protecting the sandy shelf. The coloration of these canopies is much lighter than the stalks. They glow pale yellow in the light of Gliese 667's three suns. The petals seem to shimmer as they twist and open. It's difficult to tell if this is an involuntary part of the plant's own movement. A colony of stalks has twisted itself tightly across the gap of rocks. Could they be protecting something? Well, obviously, we gotta find out. The outcrop on the shelf is cut through with huge cracks, as if they were shattered somehow. What could have done this? This towering canopy of woven stalks pulsates in the soft current, the sunlight slipping through the gaps of branches. Okay. So far, my oxygen has not actually fluctuated at all. Oh, I can't actually go there. But I can manipulate it. There we go. Where the rock shelf has fallen away into the rift, the roots of the canopy above have been exposed. We could sample them here. There we go. So they were kind of protecting a weakness in the ecosystem. Get more of those fuel plants. Yeah. A root of stock canopy made from many twisted filaments. Root of stock many twisted filaments. Man, that's actually better than this guy. It just gives me 15 fuel. Or power, I guess, not fuel. I wonder, do I want to head up this way or down here? I think this way I'll get more exploration stuff. The way station's right there. The stalks have grown across this gully, reconnecting the two huge pieces of rock that look like they must have once been one. I do have a shrill sack. There we go. High up in the wide canopy, I can see that the stalks are twisted around a strange ribbed growth. What are they holding up there? Stress marks can still be seen along the edge of this huge rock, but it remains silent about its own history. Huh. That's the geologist's plight. I'm actually a lot more familiar with geology than I am with biology. On some petals, there is a thick clump of pollen on the lower part. I wonder how this dispersed. It seems too heavy to float away. Okay. This stalk looks silently out over the deep rift. I wonder if Monet looked over the same view with different eyes. Okay. Sampling, hey? I will take them. Oh, they're shrill sacks. Nice. I could use a couple of those. On full. No. Cool. Little power supply. There. This bubble-coated stalk has large gashes in the side. It seems to be shriveling away. Its exposed tissue would be easy to sample. Yeah, but I can't take any more. Take one of those. I'll take one sample then. Yeah, I got one of each. There. I got 2 slots. Okay, what is it? Oh, this is new. Stalk segment? A segmented tissue from a stalk bubble producing... From a bubble-producing stalk. Oh, okay, cool. It's really good as fuel. I'm gonna drop one of these. Huh. And then I'm gonna take one more sample. Because that's more useful than a shrill stalk right now. What's this? Across the wide rift of the tall rock walls, the reef's second finger can be seen. What lies inside them, I wonder? Oh, whoa, there's a creature here. This canopy has many gaps between the higher stalks, as if something has fallen out or been removed from it. Interesting. Ugh. Agile creature. The relationship between these creatures and the stalks is unclear, but they camouflage themselves among the amber colonies. Cool. Do I want to go there? See what happens. No. Okay. Head back the way we came. I I see. So this is our steering rudder, which is kind of cool. Shows us where we're pointed. Okay, we're going to start moving towards that way station. Now it's cool that it's not several maps that it's going for. It's actually one map that it tells us all the things we can find. I'm definitely going to keep that in consideration the next map I go to. Towering canopies of stalks entwined around... I've named these table stalks after the table corals they remind me of. I'll log my notes back at base. Well, thank you. Alright. Entwined around ribbed growths. They pulse as their pores systematically open and close. Alright. Let you get your shimmer blooms. I'm going to name these plants shimmer blooms for the way they catch the sunlight. I wish I could share these discoveries with Monet. There's still so much to say. Okay. Wide, single-petal plants that come in a variety of hues. They appear to be primarily photosynthetic and produce heavy, furry-looking pollen. Sample candidate. Bright petals line this part of the reef, shimmering and swaying, parting easily as I pass among their delicate forms. Onward and upward. On a path of discovery. I've got a... There we go. Bright pollen. I'll take it. Let's get rid of a shrill sack. Get out of there. Furred pollen extract. Oh, I already have some. Look at this. There we go. It's a creature. Domed mushroom. Oh, well. With the strong resemblance to the terrestrial mushrooms, I'm going to call them these reef caps. Okay. Dome mushroom-like stalks, which appear to support struggling stalk colonies with a supply of special spores. It's a tongue twister. Fed by spores, shielded by a colony of stalks, this part of the reef system to have fostered in ideal conditions for its own survival. Okay. Is that another way station ahead? Monet must have built them all across the reef. Well, let's explore. The scattered shadows of the golden canopies and knee-deep, shimmering petals as the way station sits silently. That's a good way to kind of paint the picture here. Alright, okay, open up the terminal. See what data we can scrape from this place. Okay, we'll close this. We'll open this. We'll fill up our power and oxygen. Get some map data. We're hacking in. Sync complete. Data release. Pilot's console. The log suggests Monet was using this as some kind of staging ground for expeditions over the drop-off. She was looking for something out in the ocean. Something deep from the descents she logged here. Monet doesn't do things at random. The way stations, the research base, this is calculated. I feel like we are already 10 steps behind her, and we barely even started. Let's get the suit transponder. It isn't far from here. If we head straight north to the shelf's edge, it should be there. Okay. Are we going to find a corpse? Like many of the large rocks on this shelf, this outcrop has been split, creating a passage to the east and another north. Which I wonder why we don't, like, ascend to get over some of these rock faces. Maybe pressurization's a problem. A swirl of sand suggests this passage leads to the reef edge and the open waters beyond. And then... surrounded by shimmering petals and pulsing stalk pumps out spores. Do these carbon-rich particles feed plants too? Well, I gotta investigate that. If we're playing a biologist, we gotta know. A soothe spore. I don't want any of these. Do I have any? Yeah, I got one. Cool. Well, let's close that and keep going. As the shattered edge of the reef curves away to the east, the currents fade and static water grows warmer. Okay. It's like a tropical reef. From the cover of this canopy, I can see a series of tall pillars out in the east, each one topped with a garden of unknown life. Cool. A strong current cuts across the east edge of the shelf, with a turquoise haze of open ocean stretching beyond. Oh. Well, I don't think I can go that way. Alright, so we'll cut across. I think this is one of those games that really rewards you to not go straight to the objective. I don't want the samples, please. We'll steer our way north. Give us a scan. The side of the finger feels exposed, but thanks to its current splitting outcrops, it remains in a bubble of calm. Interesting. Interesting way of putting that. So basically, we got current running everywhere else, but this is just tranquil. At the tip of the shelf, the outcrop falls away to reveal an unrestricted view of the vast ocean. It is both terrifying and beautiful. Boy, do I agree. Good old thalassophobia. There's something at the edge. Is that the suit? Well, she's obviously in the suit. The open, empty, and half sunk in sand. Why would she leave it here? And more importantly, where did she go? How did she go without a suit? This is definitely Moné's suit, but no Moné. Surely she isn't... Okay, let's not jump to conclusions. I want to take a look at this. I can't have been long here. It can't have been long here. Most of it is still in good condition, but how did it get out here? There's no evidence of injury. A malfunction, perhaps? What do you think? No. No, you're right. Then she left it on purpose, abandoned it. Did she intend us to find it? Moné, what did you get yourself into there? It's better equipped than our suit, but the seals have started decaying. What's this? Moné has rigged up some kind of custom propulsion system, probably to deal with the currents. We can use this. We'll need a power source. It won't run off the suit system. It seems like she fashioned some kind of microbial fuel cell. We need to recreate that if we want to use it. Okay, let's get this back to base so I can take a better look. Moné, you better not have done something stupid. I didn't come all this way out here to bury you. I mean, you might have. Let's go. Call for drone pickup. Let's head back. Then we do the in-between level analysis, which is pretty cool. So basically we just shut down to connect to the ship. Back with me? Yes. Good to hear. Let me update you. I spent the past few hours working on Moné's suit. Bad news is the majority of it is unusable. Apart from this propulsion system Moné pulled together, but we are going to need a power source. Moné's suit logs mention her building a fuel cell using microbes from the Western Reef. But they don't say much else. She's been incredibly secretive while she was here, covering her tracks across the reef, as if there was someone watching, or she just... I don't know. The Moné I knew was tricky, complicated, but not paranoid. Either way, if we want to recreate her propulsion system, we'll need those microbes. When you're ready, let's head to the Western Stock Forest and see what we can find. Okay. Still see her walking around. Let's see what you get. So apparently there's this many levels. Moné's suit, open to the ocean, empty. What has she done? I'm trying hard to reconcile with Moné I once knew with the evidence in front of me. Okay. You're trying hard to reconcile with the Moné I once knew with the evidence in front of me. When I met her on Kepler 62F, she was intense and quiet, but calculated and intelligent. She wasn't someone to take unnecessary risks, to leap into the unknown. At first, I found her impossibly intimidating. Her experience working as a biologist far outstripped my own. Baikal brought me into the site as a consultant to examine her discoveries, but I felt like one under examination. The base was much like this one, a smaller, older model sunk into the subglacial ocean. Someone might think, so it's below the glacier? glaciers? Someone might think a relationship was inevitable, given those intimate conditions, but it wasn't the base that brought me to her. It was that intensity. Over the past few years, since I've tried not to dwell on what happened on Kepler 62F, but being here, living where she has lived, following her scattered steps, it is impossible not to remember. Okay. So yeah, this is definitely personal for you. You're just living in the mess hall, going back towards, I'm assuming, the shower, the bathroom, kitchen? Alright, I'm not ready to go here, but I am ready to drop off half my crap. Fresh samples. Cool. It is time to analyze. Hello. Let's analyze this. Further analysis possible. Well, then how the hell do we analyze more? Like, is there a continue button? Nope. Lab analysis. Reef cap taxonomy entry updated. Alright. Reef stock taxonomy entry updated. Shimmer blooms taxonomy updated. Lab analysis taxonomy updated. Excellent. So, click out of that. We'll look at the taxonomy. Whoa, there's a lot of those. Oh, nice. There's a sketch. That's kind of cool. Looks like a tentacle. I got the pores. Can I look closer? Yeah. Oh, that's wild. Lichal growths. Alright, behavior. Analysis of stock spores revealed a rich cocktail of compounds unique to each spore, some of which are previously unknown to human chemistry. This aspect of the spores and their unnoticeable exchange between colonies of stocks suggested that these chemical cocktails are part of an information exchange network. However, some of these spores also appear to be true spores, used for asexual oh, I've already read this. Close analysis of the stock root networks reveals something surprising. The root networks are in fact part symbiote, a different fungal species entirely, which exists within the stock bodies. This fungal symbiote provides a carbon exchange network which runs throughout the bedrock of the reef, connecting all colonies in a single web. The symbiote also produces the spore which the stalks use to communicate, but these spores are edited by the stalks themselves to act as reproductive agents, information carriers, and chemical delivery system. If the stalks are able to edit the genetic signatures of the spores and their parent species, their intelligence and complexity may be way beyond what I previously theorized. Close analysis of stock spores language could reveal entire corpus of communication. There are stock jokes, stock histories, or even stock literatures. And corpus just is Latin for body, if you did not know. Well, let's look at the rest. So I've already got behavior, so let's look at theories. Chemical analysis of the signal stock tissues sample has confirmed the presence of yeast-like fungus and large amounts of ethanol saturated within the tissue itself. This prompts a rethink of why many creatures target the hard-to-get signal stocks as a foodstuff. While I initially theorized it was due to their role as protectors of stock colonies, the significant presence of ethanol in the signal stock tissue means that most creatures would feel the effects of the alcohol consumed, and may get buzzed from grazing the signal stalks. This, in moderation, would be favorable, even enjoyable effect for the creatures, leading them to repeatedly target signal stalks. If I remain stranded on Gliese for long enough, I may need to make use of this particular... She might need a drink. Alright, let's take a look. So yeah, these are the shrill sac catch, the bubbles on it. So I guess it's kind of big. Like maybe this is the size of a person, or maybe like half the size? Subsidiary stocks. Okay. Gas vents. Neat. I kind of like looking at these old biological things. There's old naturalist journals from like expeditions and such that have all these sketches on them that are pretty cool. Table stock. Okay. This is already what we've. Oh no. Okay. Many entwined, which reach impressive heights. Table stalks are part of the reef's many interlocking species of stalks. Though these individuals can be found in eastern reef, they tower over the other creatures, providing dappled shade for life that grows around them. One of the notable features of the table stalk is the rhythmic opening and closing of their pores, which provide a steady flow of water beneath their canopies. This seems to be highly beneficial to the growth of other species, which most table stalks being surrounded by many other of the stalks of the other species entirely. Also notable are the ball-shaped growths of differing size which sit high on the table stalk canopies. Sampling these might help us understand the table stalk better. Okay, behavior. Analysis of a table stalk root shows a number of minerals not associated with stalk growth being extracted from the bedrock. Do the table stalks need these minerals to survive, or are they using them for some other purpose? A cross-section of the root shows a central chamber typical to the carbon transfer system, seen in other stalks. But unlike those stalks, table stalks have many subsidiary chambers, like a bundle of wires, each carrying a particular cocktail of mineral compounds. These secondary roots are not drawing up large amounts of these materials, just traces, but why? Perhaps there's some connection to those growths in the upper canopies of the table stalks. They are well secured by the stalk's tight binding, but perhaps we can find one that's been dislodged. Nice. Alright, reef cap. Alright, large dome stalks, which like terrestrial mushrooms, release spores from the gills of underside of the cap. In wider stalk ecology, reef caps appear to play a role of emergency response, growing in these areas where the stalk colonies are falling or are heavily predated upon, and proceeding to shower them with spores. However, these spores seem to differ from those releases by other species of stalk in that they quickly dissolve when expelled. Analyzing these spores is important to be better understanding of the reef cap's roles. Are they reproductive spores, tasked in adding newly seeded stalks with existing colonies, or nutrient spores intended to boost the health of dying or diseased individuals? Alright, Dr. Ellery Vass. Zoospores, the name by which I have come to call the reef cap spores, don't seem to be spores at all. Unlike the modified spores of other stalks, these particles don't have any reproductive capacity. Instead, they resemble endospores, dormant bacteria reduced to dried husks which can survive for hundreds of years in toxic environments without nutrients. Endospores are incredibly tough and high in calcium, which, when released by the reef caps, they dissolve and transfer this calcium to surrounding environment, where it is absorbed by the local stalks. This windfall of calcium granted by the cap spores seem to allow stalks to augment their internal signaling and toughen their membrane to protect them from predators, allowing them to recover rapidly. But the question remains, how do the reef caps produce these endospores? Okay, so that's all that. Shimmer. Shimmer blooms are single-petaled plants found primarily on the sheltered waters of East Reef. As they produce pollen as well as photosynthesize, I have classified the visible portion of these plants as petals, though they could also be thought of as leaves, serving as both functions simultaneously. Shimmer blooms can be green, like most terrestrial plants, however they can also be found to be yellow, red, or purple in color. The image of patches of blooms is a beautiful one, as they shift in the soft currents as they often seem to shimmer. The lower part of the single petal features many small stamens, which produce fluffy, clumped pollen. Analysis of this pollen may provide some insight into their life cycle. Okay. Laboratory analysis of shimmer bloom pollen reveals to be a heavy, sticky substance, atypical for waterborne distribution. Unlike on terrestrial plants, like seagrass, those pollens is distributed by the water currents and is therefore long and light shimmer blooms spherical. Heavy pollen seems intended to resist the distribution by current and must instead be distributed by creatures who visit the blooms. The reason for this may be the shimmer bloom's tendency to grow on exposed shelves or pillars, which would risk lightweight, water-transported pollen being sucked into the deep ocean, rather than being distributed to valuable sites. By relying on creature transport, bloom pollen has better chance of reaching another sunlit shelf or pillar. Interesting. Okay. So it's like a flower. Alright, what are we looking at? Medical bay? Don't need. Generator? Get that very satisfying industrial sound. Only 34% efficiency, though. Observation? Still broken. So we'll look at the dive map. I don't really need anything from here, so we won't carry it. Alright, so we're going here. What's this? Sample requested, sing stock. So, am I dropping off at the way station? Like, where am I going? Reef cap tissue. Shimmer blooms. But this is like in that huge chasm. Am I starting here? Definitely going... Oh, I can actually start here and move on. Nice. I can just speed on to this way. Can't go that way. So yeah, let's go the long way. I think we got time for one more. Let's try it. Well, there's tucked behind the fingers of the reef. Just one germinated. So, yeah, we're going this way. So we're going to wait for a dialogue to happen, then I got to use the restroom. All right, I'll be right back. Alright, let's take a look. So I'm really digging this game. The fact that it maintains, it has a lot of dialogue for sure, but it really kind of paints an awesome picture, just kind of like how to shape, actually, maybe I want to go this way? It kind of shapes just paint a picture, and I really like the UI of this, where it's kind of like told in a simulator style, where you can just got the control panel and just describes everything to you. It really opens up okay. Yeah, it really opens up, just kind of like paints a picture for you about what you're seeing. And I mean, that kind of storytelling is really admirable. As I've mentioned before, I'm a big D&D fan, so like the whole theater of the mind is spectacular. Okay, I cannot go that way. Fine. But it's within these rocks that I'm going to get the sample for the shimmer leaf. And because I have a limited inventory, I think it might be the case that I can only get so many samples per trip, which is awesome. Oh, but now that I've already scanned this, transportation should be pretty quick. You know. These way stations are important. Okay, just gotta get through. Maybe there's another passage I can go. Might as well grab the samples. As they add as a decent oxygen and fuel source anyway. Cool. Got spores. Oh, only going this way. Whoops. I guess we just keep going. But how do I get down there? I guess I don't. Because this was where the Sing Stock samples were. Or not Sing Stock, the Shimmer Bloom. Fine. Well, we certainly have a long way to go. Maybe I made a mistake and misunderstood how to go about this. Like, it was a very consistent mapping. Okay. Well, we'll go through the cave mouth. Call it good. Dive. I don't quite want to fill my inventory quite yet. Hopefully I don't have to use more No, I do. Damn it. So there's no way back. Shit. Unless... Wait. Hold up. I do. So it is consistent. Oh, shit. I guess not. I guess let's head back to the way station. Well, we learned something there. We'll speed through this. It also, this game invokes a really awesome sense of discovery and just kind of like exploring new areas, which is 100% my jam. I really like the coloration too, like the pale blue with the bright yellow. Kind of invokes kind of just, you know, a very peaceful feel. Like you can tell the shifting in lights when you go underground. It's really pretty. All right, terminal available. Let's call for retrieval. And then we'll go back to the other one, which was apparently where I was supposed to go to begin with. Yes. 3.6 hours downtime. Well. Hi. Only got so much life support. That's alarming. Okay. So I don't get new stuff. We'll drop off our supplies. And then head back out there. So yeah, I guess I need to find another way in there, so whatever. Huh. Transitioning. Alright. So I guess let's head north. Because I got decent sampling there. It wouldn't be on this shelf, would it? Is there a way I can look at the map? No. See if it's the same every time I pop up. Yeah, it is. Okay. We have learned. Sample might be over here. No, that's actually where I found the suit. So, we will end up here. We're eating through energy really fast. Did I just bypass the way station? How the hell did I do that? Alright, I'll head this way. Assuming I pushed the right button. Damn it. Okay, now we scan. Rare bear boulders. These stalks are noticeably absent from the sides of the northern rift. Why do they leave such a clear buffer zone beside it? Let's find out. Okay, I guess I won't find out. Calm waters. The Central Reef way station lies within a bubble of calm. But just to its north lies a... But just to its north, a massive rift brings a strong current through the reef. Alright. The passage between these rocks leads out into the howling currents of the northern rift. I mean, obviously I want to see it. There's no life here, though. The northern rift is the largest of the cuts into the central reef. Crossing it without some way of navigating the currents would be suicide. Yeah. But I think that's where we get the propulsion system. Impressive. This split in the shelf is incredibly wide and deep. Those currents would smash us against the rocks if we swam out into the flow. We're going to need better equipment if we want to cross that monster. Apt use of words. That monster. Alright, outside of the shimmering perimeter of the western stock forest, almost nothing lives or grows on this finger of the reef. Interesting. I wonder why. Just nothing to feed on? No plant life? The western side of the finger becomes increasingly enclosed by the rocky outcrops as it leads towards the shallower water. Shallower, eh? It looks like Monet has had to salvage parts from the base to build what she needed to survive. She must have been here many months before I arrived. Some ruined equipment lies in the shelter of 2 boulders. An early way station site, perhaps? Well, I like me some equipment. Oh, I guess it's ruined equipment. Let's take a peek. Maybe I'll head south. I cannot head south. Very well. This way it is. Across the open sand, I can see faint shapes of stock colonies rising up in ordered rows. We still got 2 possible linkages that I can see. Oh, nice. At the edge of the strange terraces of this underwater forest, this stock sits like a sentry, armed with a coating of bubbles. Sample it is. Just more shrill sacks? Fine. I'm sure they'll be useful. Nice. Okay, there's really no way to go here, so I'll go south. Stock forest. A pattern of stock stretched back in the distance, pathways and terraces of some unknown design. This must be the western stock forest. Interesting. Monet's map data mentions a microbe which only occurs in this stock forest. If we can find 4 healthy colonies, it will make an ideal basis for the propulsion system fuel cell. Oh. Okay. Unlike in the southern reef, the stocks here are ordered in curving rows, tightly packed and evenly spaced. Okay, shrill sack it is. There we go. The bloated stalk. These stalks bulge out from their bases, forming a rounded... Oh, I've started logging this data in the strange inflated stalks. They look ill. Pulsing growths that look discolored and stretched. Yeah, definitely sample analysis. This growth is bloated and distended, the panel of chitin bulging outwards, and between the seams, something flows within. It sounds like a parasite. It sounds like I'm about to be infected with something. What are those strange inflated stalks? They look like sporing growths we found in the eastern caves, but there is something wrong with them. We need to break them open somehow, so we can sample the microbe colony inside. Let's see if they respond to shrill sacks. Okay. Shatter them! Well, Well, that looks dangerous. Microbial colony, fine. We've got one, but the clouds of microbes in the stalks released are incredibly toxic. The suit is having to flush the vents with oxygen to protect me. We've lost a lot of reserve oxygen. We're going to need to be fast when sampling these bloats. Let's get another 3 colonies. Is there no more? Okay, let's get out of here. Ah! Okay. Well, that's dangerous. Sampling available. Let us sample. Okay, we got shrill sacks. So the shrill sacks make those things explode into a toxic, hell beacon. Now, what does this say? Toxic microbial colony found inside bloated stalks. Buh. Alright, what do we got? We got, to the west, the stalks spread in thick passageways, curving between strangely corroded stones. As they curve south, the stalks meet the rising wall of rock, which shelters the southern reef. Do I want to go to the southern reef or the western one? Let's go southern. Boink. Yep, we got another one of those bloat sacks. What's this? Between the rocks and the stalks, thin, sandy passages leads towards a clearing. Well, it's not going anywhere. Sat silently among the terraces, the stalk bristles with bubbles, awaiting to breach the first sign of predator. Huh. The membrane of these stalks is thin enough to be translucent in areas, stretched to the breaking point by whatever's inside. The rock behind this growth looks as if it's been melted, as its layers whirl in distorted forms, revealing a metallic ore. Well, that's awesome. But we're going to go this way first. I believe there might be something to sample here. A small clearing between the avenues of stalks. To the west, their ordered rows dissolve into the chaos of the southern forest. Interesting. Why is it growing in ordered rows? There we go. I've noticed smaller spotted variants of these creatures. Another species? Or perhaps sexual dimorphism. These might be the males. Oh, okay. Neat. Fragments of a shell recently shed in the glint of sand like shards of cloudy glass. What creature left these here? Oh, obviously it's the shimmer shells. Or rock scrapers or whatever. Animal shell? Hell yeah. Piece of shells with clouded pattern. Okay, I'm glad the shrill sacks actually provide oxygen. That is... Oh, do I scan around here? Anything new? No. Cool. So yeah, I'm going to try to find all the little nooks and crannies. Find all the samples I possibly can. Go here. Excellent. Okay, that's a signal stock. I will need the shrill sack, so we'll head over here and grab them. Any excess I can pop into my oxygen. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna head right next to it and blow it up. We'll be swift. Cool, let's get the hell out of here. The stalks seem to be growing around the bloated growths, isolating them from one another. What purpose does this serve? Yep, get out of there. Panic reading. Okay. It would be easy to become lost in the complex patterns traced by the rows of stalks. I wonder where they lead. If these stalks are isolating the bloats, perhaps it is because they are dangerous to the colony itself. The stalks form a loose perimeter around this growth, which bulges unsettlingly, as if it is about to burst. When alarmed, these stalks burst open, releasing their toxic contents into the local water. Could they be defending themselves? Shrill sacs. It is. Okay, and then we fall out this way. It's a cool kind of rebreather that we have that actually lets us filter oxygen out of the water. Okay, yeah, blah, blah, blah. The stalk sits upon a corroded husk of a boulder, melted down little more than a pebble. So what is melting these rocks? Is it the bacteria? Oh. Okay, I'm probably going to eat these shrill sacs. More oxygen, more better. Okay. Get some fuel. And now we sample. Okay, here we go. To the west stands the final pathway of stalks before the colony fades out into the sand and rock. Okay. There's something different about the growth patterns in this forest. The ones further south were more chaotic, but these stalks are almost arranged avenues or terraces. Do you think they might be protecting something? Yes. But what would they be fortifying? And why all the diseased bloats? Well, maybe that's what they're fortifying. Bloat stalk. The pulsing, pumping rhythm of these stalks' contraction suggests that some process is happening inside them. Okay, I gotta kind of be close about this. The bloats pulse unnervingly, as if any moment it might burst open, choking the water with microbial cloud. I like how we're now facing some kind of danger. Alright, shrill sac, go. We get it, scan, and run. Yep. Oh, it's still dissolving. Go! Alright, reef bloat. Large bloated stalks that burst easily, expelling the toxic microbes. Oh, that's enough data. Classify these in. I'm going to call for them reef bloats. Held inside their bodies. Their movement suggests unseen processes. The bloated stalks seem to be precisely spaced out between the stalks. Are we damaging the colony by disturbing them? Probably. Some vein or root must run through this spot, as the sand resembles with unseen movements. Or rumbles with unseen movements. Are all the bloats connected? Oh wow, they actually come back. So we can, oh no, never mind, this is still... Alright, cool. Time to go. So the sand's pulsating as these things are moving. That's kind of cool. Let's do a shrill sac here. This is a place I've been. Glittering stalk. These bubble-skinned stalks keep their distance from the bloats, as if they know danger they pose to the stalk colonies. Well, I'm going to need more shrill sacs. There we go. It's a lichen signal. I kind of like the idea of communicating fungus. I mean, it is kind of similar to real life. Similar, but not the same, of course. What's this? Clearing these stalks is a delicate task, and I hope their retraction is temporary and not some terminal state. Well, maybe you should have studied that before trying to do it. A pulse can be felt running through the shelf from the north, making the sand ripple in small, soft waves. A pulsing growth sits in the strangely shaped clearing. What causes these stalks to grow like this? There's something I'm not seeing here. Okay, we're gonna make this burst, then run away north. Cool, let's get the hell out of here. Ah! No, wrong button. But where did this infection come from? The stock seemed to be struggling. Or is it just part of their expected life cycle? What do you think? No, I agree. This feels like a rare event. An epidemic, perhaps. But what is the source? Either way, let's bring these back to the base as soon as we can. We can analyze the samples there. Call up in the pickup. Well, I don't wanna. I got other stuff to explore. These curving avenues of stock seem to mark a loose perimeter around each bloated growth. Why? Oh, right. There we go. Cool, so we can actually start heading back towards the west side. Try to avoid the microbial blooms. Oh wait, those are shrill sacks. Maybe I'll grab another one here. Drop a shill sack. We'll try to be quick. Stock pathway, unlikely, blah, blah, blah. It's a shame I can't go back and see what those things were saying when I'm rushing out of there. Beyond these stocks, I can see a sheer ridge rising up to the north. Bloated growth. This chalky covering melted away by the bloat. This rock has a dull metallic sheen, spectrum of light reflecting across its surface. I mean, that is really cool. What happens if I drop the shrill sack here? Cool. That's a lot more efficient use with it. Thank you. I would like to go this way, please. Cool. There's more samples to be had. The north here, an angular ridge ascends, cutting the shelf in two. The only way further north is across the rift to the east of here. Okay. Well, let's take a peek, and then I'll head back to the ship. Tucked into the side of this corroded rock, a pile of stones with worn holes sit in the sand. Within a hole, something glitters. I'll take a look at that. Let's get that sample. An egg? Oh my. Oops. Striped egg. This egg samples from a spore-lined nest. Interesting. Okay, glittering stalk. Behind this stalk layers thick growth surrounding a maze of rocks, blocking the passage back east. Well, I'm out of shrill sacks. Let's pop this in our fuel. Hello. Oh, it's just shrill sacks. What's our inventory look like? Wouldn't happen to have an O2 content. No. No. Let's pop this in our O2. I'm gonna use this here. And grab the last one. Cool. I'm gonna scan, see if there's any other place we can explore. There we go. Spore catcher. Agile jet-propelled creatures with colorful mantles found... Oh, I'm gonna call these spore catchers. They are so eager to gather stock spores. Found hidden amongst the reef stock colonies, feeding on their spores. Lovely. And let's head back. I feel like I've explored what I possibly can. Hey, Happy New Year, Baron. How you doing? Sorry, it took me a while to see that. I've been pretty tunnel visioned. It's good to see you, bud. Did you have a good time? Yeah. Hey, are you ready to get back to work? Yes. Great, because I've had a very productive few hours. I've been working on that propulsion system. I've used the 4 microbial samples to grow a new colony in the lab. Then I transferred it to the secure containment capsule, nice and snug. I followed what I could from the Monet's notes on the building a microbial fuel cell. It's all loaded in the suit. The MFC fed directly from our reserve oxygen supply. Well, didn't really do anything to celebrate, but had to get it up and... Oh yeah, I get you. To test it. It's going to take plenty of oxygen. Give me a second, this is timed. So bring samples that help out. But make sure to take any we haven't put through analysis on lab level first. I don't want to burn through hours of research material just to get a power boost. This propulsion system will let us pass through strong currents and move quickly. We should be able to cut across the rift, north of the way station, and see what the bloom finally is. Ready when you are. Okay, excellent. But yeah, it's what are you guys playing? That sounds pretty fun. Okay. More reading. Oh, interesting. Okay. Let us analyze. Oh. There we go. Excellent. Multiple taxonomies entered. Updated. Stock scraper taxonomy entry updated. Hopefully I get sketches from these things. Reef bloat taxonomy entry updated. Spore catcher taxonomy updated. Excellent. So let's take a look. Got a lot of reading in our future. So the Animalia. Spore catcher. Yeah, we got the whole thing. Analysis of... Oh, well, I should start at observations. Can you dabble too? Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool. But, I mean, Diablo 2 Resurrection, that could be pretty fun. Did you make a lot of progress? Spore catchers are small, soft-bodied creatures which move quickly through the water using siphon jets. Their mantles, striped with bright colors that shift as they swim, allow for creatures to modify their movements through the water with precise flapping motions. Watching them navigate the water is hypnotic, their rapid turns and loops showing incredible agility, flitting through the water like a bat or bird. Act 1? Oh, hell yeah! Yeah, once you get to Act 3, that's when the game really starts getting just stupid. The swamp. I mean, I'm sure you played it before, but that's usually the place where I kind of hit a wall. Spore catchers use this wide range of movement to pursue the various fungal spores that are produced by the reef stock. The spore catchers seem to be highly selective about which spores they wish to consume, suggesting that analysis of stock spores might tell us more of the spore catcher's behavior and diet. You know, that one is actually awesome. Have you been getting into it yourself? I think it's like... No, that was Outward. I don't actually know how much Grim Dawn is right now. And you're getting pretty close to the new DLC coming out. Analysis of the unique chemical compounds found on the stock spores and wider understanding of how stocks use spores to communicate suggests a more mutual relationship between spore catchers and stocks initially assumed. If stocks are able to tailor chemical makeups for spores, it is possible... Oh yeah, oh damn, that's really good. So you get like the entire thing for like just the price of a full game. Catchers eat are intended for their consumption, contain compounds and minerals attractive to this species. As spore catchers use their color-shifting properties to hide among the stalks, it seems increasingly possible that stock colonies and spore catchers are mutualistically linked. The catchers serve the needs of specific stock patches. What those needs are, however, are not yet clear. Analysis of a spore catcher egg, if found, may help us gain a full picture of their physiology. Nice. And awesome. I mean, you'll get a chance to break open the new year with a awesome game and pretty much explore. You should tell me what your first character is when you dive in. Analysis of the spore catcher egg shows a strong correlation between the minerals it contains and the minerals present within the catcher's favored spores. It seems that though the spores, stalks, are able to affect the catcher's egg production, therefore controlling the volume, traits, and the behavior of catchers within any area of the reef. In a sense, the stalks have domesticated catchers, leaving the two intrinsically linked as a species. But the question of what the catchers provide the stalks remains. Do catchers serve a specific purpose, consuming unwanted or incorrectly configured spores, for example? Or are they kept for other reasons? Could the catchers be kept by the stalks for their companionship, social use, or just as humans keep pets? Hell yeah. Oh, these guys look awesome. Not anything like I imagined. Man, they got these cool membranes, the siphon flaps. Where's the jet? The sensorum? Okay, so this is the front, and I guess it just shoots out this end. Or the other way. Yeah, because these are like the ears, telling which direction it goes. Nice. Next. The sock scraper. Anthrophilia. Wait, Anthropelatia. Pelta? Yeah. Stock scrapers are large, translucent, shell-shaped creatures with a distinctive swimming motion, which feed primarily on stock colonies. Surprisingly nimble, despite their size, stock scrapers use some of their modified limbs to swim through the water, and others to scrape away chitinous membrane from the stalks. This is tolerated by the stalks to some degree, although they will also deploy shrill sacs to scare the scrapers away. Stock scrapers seem to be one of the more socially active of the reef creatures, and will call to each other when grazing or when frightened. Each specimen has a unique cloud pattern in its shell. I wonder how these are formed, and what their significance is within communities. Awesome. Chemical analysis of stock scraper's shell confirms that not only are they made from the stalk membrane materials, their distinctive cloudy coloration comes from the stalks too. Stalk coloration, like most fungal coloration, is reflective of the local water acidity and the medium the fungus grows in. This variance of amber, orange, and yellow, and even green pigments is passed directly to scraper shells when consumed, resulting in beautiful whorls and blobs of colors. A scraper shell is a living record of every stock colony it is fed on, therefore a marker of territory and social standing. A scraper shells could be used to help study the entire reef and its shifting ecosystem, each one a chemical map of a local history, readable for those who can learn the significance of its forms. Cool. Again, that is not what I expected. It kind of looks like a horseshoe crab in a way. You got the membranes here as it just scrapes the outside. Leg extensions, nice. So like kind of like a head crab from Half-Life, in my opinion. Scraping limbs, swimming limbs. It's like a crustacean. Nice. Alright, reef stalks. Analysis of the stalk spores has revealed... Oh, wait. Reef stalks are a fungal life form which takes the form of a series of stalks or plates anchored to rocky substrates. Oh, I've already read this. Their chitin exterior ranges in color from dark amber to acid yellow. Oh, I haven't read this. Leading to resemble oversized lichens. The outer membrane is marked with slits which expand and contract, producing a distinctive hum. These slits, which expand and contract, producing a decent hum. These slits or pores also allow both the release of spores by each colony and the absorption of other colony spores. I'm using these terms for ease, but these are really seeds or something else. Both the hum and the spore exchange seem to be part of a complex communication network between the individual stalk patches or colonies. However, like earth fungi, these visible parts of... Oh yeah, and then the behavior disproves the communication thing. Theories. Close analysis of the stalk root networks reveals something surprising. The root networks are, in fact, part of a symbiote, a different fungal species entirely, which exists within the stalk bodies. This fungal symbiote provides a carbon exchange network which runs throughout the bedrock of the reef, connecting all colonies in a single web. The symbiote also produces spores which the stalks use to communicate. These spores are edited by the stalks themselves to act as reproductive agents, information carriers, and chemical delivery systems. If the stalks are able to edit the genetic signature of these spores and their apparent species, their intelligence and complexity may be way beyond what I previously theorized. Close analysis of the stalk spore language can reveal entire corpus of communication. Oh, I have read that. Oh yeah, and I've seen this too. Cool. And then the reef bloat. Reef bloats are a large bloated stalk which can be found at the western border of the reef. Intimidating in their size and distorted shape, they resemble inflated sporing mushrooms covered in nodules of rampant fungal growth. Their membrane, which is stretched by the bloating process in an almost translucent sheen, is darker than a typical stalk, making the stalks themselves a shade of sickly orange. What role the bloats play in the reef stalk network is not immediately obvious, but their pulsing, pumping motion suggests that the bloats are either processing or producing the toxic microbes that are contained within the fragile membranes. Without analyzing the microbial colonies themselves, this will be difficult to ascertain. Alright. Laboratory analysis of these microbial colonies found within the reef bloats, spark colonies, as I have come to call them, show that these microbes are not of a group of typically associated with stalk colonies. In fact, spark colonies appear to be made up of highly modified algae with a wide metabolic range, able to consume carbon dioxide, oxygen, metal, and toxic compounds with equal ferocity when supplied with a source of light. When metabolizing these substances, spark colonies produce a regular flow of charged electrons, making them ideal for the use of microbial fuel cell, or MFC. Their suitability for this is suspicious, as these are these really naturally occurring microbes? And why are they found only within reef bloats? Something isn't right here. Nice. The shimmer blooms? Oh, I've already got this. Alright. Alright, we got nothing new. But yeah, this is I know it's kind of a shorter stream, but this does take a lot of reading. But I wish to continue this next weekend, Saturday in the morning. So I'm going to try to make that kind of a showcase and maybe play through it. We'll see how long this game goes. But for sure, this is it for me right now. I'll be on later tonight. It is going to be 4:30 to 8 because I do work the next day. But yeah, I haven't decided what we're going to play. So I'll take a look at what we got. But Baron, I appreciate you sticking around. That was cool of you. Yeah, take care, and I hope you have a good rest of the day. Hopefully see you a little bit later. And yeah, for YouTube purposes, tell me how you like this game. Just me reading a whole bunch maybe isn't everybody else's thing. Maybe see it as an audiobook or something. I know a lot of it's for the theater of the mind. But, you know, like, subscribe. I use my YouTube pretty heavily to see what people like. So please, by all means, give me your thoughts. And with that, I'm going to call it quits for a few hours. So, take it easy.